It's an Arabic term. Those things now, we bring them over to Iberia. We now teach all of the so-called Caucasian that sleep with the animals. No, you don't sleep with them. And we put street lights and public bars and all those things. We set it up. And our writings, that's why when you go to Spain, you see a lot of our Arabic brothers who were us, their writings on all the architecture. Is it making sense to you now? All of that period, so you're going to keep the harmony of those different points. Can't? Now you'll understand why the term Moors was used a lot there. As then when we spread to England, Moor. That's why they have places called Dartmoor, right? Yorkshire Moors. These are our people who were reigning there long before the so-called white man was reigning there, calling himself, I'm British. You know, so these knuckleheads on the way tell us to go back to where we are already from. Right here in America, they tell you, go back to your own country. Why don't you go back to your own country? So this is all of what's going on in that period, Khan. And then when Constantine started to do what he did, that brought a stain upon us again, and the Most High punished us even the more. All right, we need to drop that. Let's get into the lesson. I say grace and peace to all those who have joined us today. We hope that you've been blessed by the prelude of what we were doing. We got a little intense there for a minute. Some of you thought that was a lesson, right? No, sir. That's not a lesson. Okay, here we go. So, we're going to be dealing with the subject matter of faith. Because I think some of us need a faith tune-up. Need to tune your faith up. You see, the scripture tells us that we walk by faith. But judging sometimes by our actions, we're not walking by faith. Because remember, you walk by faith every single day. You're in a dry and thirsty land, the scripture says. You walk through the valleys of the shadows of death. If you don't have faith to do all that every day, I don't know what to say about it. You're doing it. So we're going to cover the area of faith. And the title of this teaching will be Overcoming Faith. The faith that helps you to overcome. And we need that. In times like these, we need that. Come on. So bearing that in mind, what I want you to do is to get your pens ready, your scripts ready, that we're going to burn through those, so that we do have some understanding. Father, hear us now, guide us now, speak to us now. Amen. Amen. Now, we welcome all our brothers from overseas, all our brothers over in the UK, and all our brothers over in Europe and the African continent, all our brothers here in the US, from Florida to California to Dallas and Detroit, etc. Let us go, if you please, at the beginning of this. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. We were there earlier on. Let's go back there. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Huh? All right. You forgive me if I take a sip every now and then. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to begin reading, if you please, at verse 7. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. Please begin reading.
2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith.
Hold it. It says we do what?
We walk by faith.
We walk by faith. Quote it and read it again, sir.
2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith.
It says, for we walk by faith. Now, when it uses the word walk by faith, what it is also saying that we live by faith. We live by faith. So every day that you wake up, your eyes are now open, and you take in that breath, you are living by faith. And if you're living by faith, that means every walk that you are doing is also by faith. Now, I'm going to show you some of the anomalies in Christianity using the term faith. And I'm going to show you also, if you are willing, the correction of us operating by faith according to the word. So it says we walk by faith. Read.
For we walk by faith, not by sight.
And our problem is that we have become less spiritual and we become more natural. A natural man must see things happening now. I've got to see it. If I don't see it, I just don't believe it. But according to the scriptures, it says, not by sight. So you don't judge your faith by what you see. Because some of the things that's happening for us as a nation or as an individual or as people is happening in the spirit realm. It's happening. And then it says, read.
We are confident.
We are what?
We are confident.
Then there's a comma there. The writer could have just said, we are confident, I say, and stop there. But there are two commas. And I like commas. It says, we are confident, comma. That's the statement. This is my state of being. I'm confident. But isn't it amazing how the people who are confident every now and then act like they are not confident? Now, I'm not saying that life won't hit you, because that's what life does. It comes and gives us a smack every now and then. But don't let anything that throws you throw you off course. Look, I've been thrown many a times over my years on this telephone. But what keeps me is the assurity of knowing that I'm not guided by myself. There's one greater than I guiding me. That's why one scripture says, and this is the confidence that we have in him. See, you must have confidence in him. Don't go to that scripture now. We'll go there later. But he says, we are confident, I say, read.
And willing, rather, to be absent from the body.
So now he's teaching us why we must have this type of faith. Because he's assuring us that if you can have faith whilst you are in this body, you have to have faith for when you're not in this body. So he says, willing rather to be absent from the body. To be absent from the body means to be dead, really. That's what it's saying. To leave this body and to be elsewhere. You with me so far? And then he says, and to be
present with the Lord.
Because he says if you leave this body, you're not a wandering spirit. And all the movies you've seen that say these are wandering spirits, it doesn't exist. There's no such thing. A spirit either is living in a body, doing whatever it is meant to be doing, but be good or bad. And then, once you leave the body, you are then present with the Lord. So he's saying that a bad man, even Jeffrey Dahmer, he's present with the Lord. Well, he's not present with the Lord like he's present, but he is no longer in his body, so he's in the spirit realm. We read that this morning in Job chapter 3. Now you can read that in your own time. I would say begin reading from verse 11 on down to get clarity. Come. So it then says, read.
Wherefore we labor.
Wherefore what?
Wherefore we labor.
Wherefore we labor. So it says, wherefore we labor, read.
That whether present.
Whether what?
Whether present.
Whether present.
Or absent.
Or absent.
We may be accepted of him.
Because we want him to accept us. We don't want him to deny us. Come on. Read.
For we must all appear.
So it says, not a few of us, but it says, we must all appear. Read.
Before the judgment seat of Hamashiach.
Before who?
Before the judgment seat of Hamashiach.
Go on.
That everyone may receive the things done in his body.
Everyone should receive the things that you have done to this operating machinery that you have called the body. Read.
According to that he had done.
According to what?
According to that he had done.
Go on.
Whether it be good or bad.
So you're going to face judgment whether you have done good or whether you have done bad. Is everybody clear about that? Now, let's jump back to give more context to those who don't quite understand this verse. Go back to verse 1. Same chapter, verse 1. Read.
2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if our earthly house.
So now it's making it more clear. Your earthly house, not speaking about the house you live in, bought or rent or whatever, is saying your flesh, go on.
Of this tabernacle.
Go on.
Were dissolved.
Read.
We have a building of God.
So he's saying to us, those who keep his laws, his statutes and commandments, there is a body that's already been made for you. Has your name on it. And he says, and it wasn't built by man. Now when it says built by man, meaning man did not have anything to do with this particular body he has for you. Now, when we say man didn't have anything to do with it, what are we saying here? What are we saying here? See, now by the mere fact that you're silent means that when we came up in church, they didn't say it specifically. That's why you're kind of vague at this point. All right? Yourself, Benyon?
So when we say that man didn't put his hands on or have his hands on it, so everything man made.
I thought he was going to hit it. Just one word. Yes, sir.
Yeah, never do evolution.
No. Just one word. Yes, sir.
We lost.
No, sir. No, yes, sir.
It's not natural, it's spiritual.
No, sir. Again, the reason why we like this and everybody is coming this way is because in the church, it was never taught to you plainly. It was always spiritualized. All right? Just one word. Yes, sir.
Mortality.
No. Read it again, sir.
For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of Yahweh.
We have what?
A building of Yahweh.
Go on.
A house not made with hands.
See? Not made with hands. So, how was the body that? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. See? You're back to where they are. Right. Not spirit. Yes, sir.
Spoken.
No. Yes.
Predestined.
No. Because see, and the reason why you all are sounding the same is because you all come up through or matriculate through Christianity. But even in Christianity, you're meant to be taught this straight. But that's where Christianity has failed, because there's something they're teaching in the church, and it's too late now. For the whole generation of messed up kids. Sex. The body you have now, you acquired it through sex. Your mother and your father coming together. Let's read it again.
First, 2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of Yahweh, a house not made with hands.
Not made with hands, meaning, and it uses the word hands, but it's kind of a play on words, meaning two people come together, right? And when they come together, they perform the act, and the result is somebody's going to be birthed, right? So it said, made with hands, go on.
Eternal in the heavens.
It's the heaven. Because the one that the Most High has for us, you are not going to, it's not anyone coming together like that. He's going to give you that body. That's why those who have part in the first resurrection, those who are of the election, you're going to be made differently. You're going to be changed. Your body's going to be different. You are going to be the nucleus that changes all other births from that point on. I see the importance of it now, brothers and sisters. See, in the churches, they should have told you that you're here because of your mother and father. But in the kingdom, it's not your mother and father who's going to be involved in this. This is, and I'm only speaking about the election at this point. I'm not speaking about the 2/3. The 2/3 are going to come back through the mothers and fathers of the election. Are you with me? Because they're not going to do the natural act, but all that are born through those individuals will be different. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Everybody good?
Yes.
All right. Yes, sir.
So I think my confusion came with the question there.
You telling me I confuse you now?
I want to make sure now, because when I go back over this, I want to make sure that I have the question right. So the question being not made with hands. So the physical act of birthing goes through a sexual act.
Well, that's the only way that it can be done.
Not with hands. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, because I'm writing this down, I was like, I
That's all
want to
right.
make sure I'm putting it right.
That's all right. I got you. Well, let's read verse 1 again. Read.
2 Corinthians 5:1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle,
Of what?
Go
on.
were dissolved,
Well, what?
Go on. We have a building of Yahweh, a house not made with hands.
House not made with what?
With hands.
With hands. Now, to prove that, the answer's in the Apocrypha. It said that all kings came this way. All kings came. All right? Now I'm going to pick on you, Sean. Show me where to find it. Wisdom of Solomon. There is one place. Until they fell on the floor. I think it's. Anybody got it yet? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, starting 1.
Let's read.